Hey there, and welcome. Today we're going to dive deep into Surah Layl. It's the 92nd chapter of the Quran, and while it's pretty short, it is packed with some profound wisdom about the two fundamental paths every single one of us can take in life. So let's get right into it.
Right from the very beginning, the surah opens with this really beautiful poetic oath. It immediately sets up this theme of contrast, right? Night and day, darkness and light. But this isn't just for show. This idea of duality is basically the key that's going to unlock the entire message of the chapter.
So, the surah kicks things off by swearing by these big universal principles of creation. And in doing that, it's really pointing to a fundamental truth about the world, and more importantly, our place inside of it. So you see these pairs that God swears by, night and day, and also male and female. Now the point here isn't to say that one is good and the other is bad, not at all. It's more like pointing out the Creator's signature on everything, a universe that is fundamentally built on this idea of duality and contrast.
And this, right here, is where it gets super personal. The surah makes this brilliant turn from the massive scale of the cosmos and zooms right into the human heart. It's telling us that these same principles of contrast, of these pairs, they apply directly to our own moral and spiritual lives.
This all leads us to the absolute core of the message. The Quran says, "Indeed, your efforts are diverse." We're all out here struggling. We're all striving, but we're doing it for different things. And those different efforts, they end up leading us down fundamentally different paths in life.
So, you might be wondering, what's the ultimate goal of navigating these paths? Well, it boils down to a key concept called tazkiyah. This is the idea of purifying the self. It's about consciously, actively working to cleanse and elevate our inner state through the choices we make every day.
Think about it like this. Life is just this long series of choices. And every single one, no matter how small it seems, is like taking a step that puts you firmly onto one of two major highways. One of those highways leads to ease, and the other, well, that one leads to difficulty.
All right, so let's explore that first highway, the path of ease. This is the journey that's really defined by a specific mindset and a very clear set of actions, all of which lead to a life of genuine inner peace.
The surah lays out three core characteristics for the person on this path. First, this person gives generously. Second, they are mindful of God, a concept we call taqwa. And finally, they believe in the best. They testify to the truth.
So, why start with giving? Well, because the act of giving is truly transformative. It helps break our selfish attachment to stuff, to money. It grows our compassion for other people, and it creates this incredible sense of inner balance. It's a reminder that some feelings are way more rewarding than just holding on. And what about that part, believes in the best? What does that actually look like? There's this amazing story about Abu Bakr. When people came to him, kind of mocking, saying the Prophet Muhammad claimed to have traveled to Jerusalem and the heavens in one night, his immediate response was just, if he said it, then it must be true.
Now, this is so crucial. This was not blind faith. It was a powerful conviction that he had built over a long, long time. A history of trust, of observation, of reasoning. He'd already done the mental work to conclude that the Prophet was a trustworthy person. That's the kind of deep, reasoned belief the surah is talking about.
And for the people who walk this path, the path of giving, of mindfulness, of true belief, there's a divine promise. Their journey through life and what comes next will literally be made smooth. They will be guided toward ease.
Okay, so now we have to look at the flip side. Let's turn to that other path. This is the way of difficulty. It's a journey that's paved with withholding, with ego, with denial, and it ultimately leads to a whole lot of inner turmoil. And you can see the direct contrast right away. The characteristics are the exact opposite of the first path. This person withholds what they have, they become stingy, they develop this false sense of being totally self-sufficient, and they actively deny the truth even when it's staring them right in the face. The psychology here is a total trap. When you hoard wealth and you're stingy, it just fuels your ego. It creates this illusion that you're completely independent, that you don't need anyone else, not your friends, not your family, and ultimately, not even God. And the consequence for this path? It's just as direct as the first one. The person who chooses stinginess and arrogance finds that their own choices are what pave the way for hardship. They are eased step by step towards a life of difficulty.
So what does this all really mean for us, right now? Let's bring it all together and see how these two paths connect our actions directly to our sense of contentment, our inner peace.
The surah then asks this devastatingly simple question.
For the person who just hoards wealth, who lives without any compassion, what good is all that money going to do when it really, truly matters? When they fall, it can't save them.
And this, right here, is the core takeaway. True, lasting contentment isn't built on what you have, it's built on what you give. Compassion isn't just some nice-to-have virtue. It is a fundamental building block of a complete, psychologically healthy person. Without it, we're always going to be in a state of unease. So the surah leaves us with this one essential question. It wants us to look at our own actions, our own struggles, our own diverse efforts, and ask ourselves, which highway am I on? Which path are my choices right now paving for me?